All right, so I want to show you a sample of this software that we've developed to track the commissioning process. So the front page of every job has multiple dashboards. These dashboards are getting updated as we use them more and more to make them, better communicate what the progress of the job is and help everybody dial in quick. So the first thing you'll see on the dashboard is the units that status that are ready for testing. Green means they're ready, not started, obviously. So we're working from left to right. Goes from not started, in progress. Maybe you have some in a problem. Ones that were in problem are waiting for some parts or something like that. And then you've got the completed. We've got another dashboard here that just shows you overall completion with a little bit less detail. If there is any issues, we're tracking those from open to close. And then for the different unit types, we've got the organization, the information organized by unit type or by type of form. So here you can see it's rooftop splits, makeup airs, and exhaust fans. And down here we've got physical inspection, initial mechanical startup, DDC point to point check, DDC controls integration, final mechanical startup, factory startup forms, and test and balance. So what you'll see over time is these go from pink to green. And in some cases, there's a few things that aren't applicable and they'll be blue. So you're either going to have total green or green and blue by the time you get done. So you can pretty quickly see what's going on. Now, I was telling you that these are clickable. So one of the things we can do, let's dial in on the rooftops. So in the rooftops, we can see, okay, we've got all statuses here, but I want to see the ones that are in progress. Okay, just these two are in progress. Well, let's go see what's going on with these two. Okay, so they've done the initial startup and the DDC point to point check, but nothing else has been done. Well, at any point I can change my mind and change the filters. So now I click the filters off. I can see all the rooftops because that's where I'm at. So now we can look at a rooftop that's completed. We want to check the physical inspection form that they uploaded, see if it looks completed. They'll sign off and date it, mark their status. And you can see here, everything worked its way to green. So any of these forms that you want to see or what they uploaded for startup, it's very easy to get to because it's all pre-organized by them uploading to the unit. Now we can also go look at a unit that's got a problem. So they had a problem on startup. Sometimes if there's a problem, somebody will leave a comment. Yep, so there's no power, can't start it up. We can check on some that are in progress, and then we can see this one hasn't been started at all. Now, if we just wanted to do some filtering and we were concerned that the controls contractor was falling behind, we could just go filter just by the controls contractor's statuses, and we can see there's 2 units that he hasn't done anything on in rooftops. And when we click to the split systems, it automatically holds that filter. So now we know the controls guy is working on these. He still's got to work on these. And while we're here, so that they have to get these to green for them to be ready for testing. So the goal would be to get a whole group to green. So if we were going to test area A, we can filter it just by typing in up here an A, and they all contain an A. Or if we want to look at area B, same thing. So we wouldn't test B, but we would be allowed to test A. So while we're doing that, we'll flip over to the functional testing tab after we've tested some of these, and you'll see that some of them passed all their tests, and they have a screenshot to prove that they passed their cooling test with the supply temperature. And then you've got some that failed some tests, and they've got a screenshot showing that the supply temperature didn't meet for the heating test. And for the contractor to clear that out, he has to provide his own screenshot showing that he got it to pass. Now, these screenshots are just samples. They don't match the unit names because it's just a sample job, but you get the idea. So if something actually fails, it triggers some additional requirements for the subcontractors to clear it out. And if I back up to the dashboard again. So you don't ever, as an owner, you don't necessarily need to go that deep, but if you want to, you can. And then if you want to see the testing, so the first half is the contractor readiness, and the second half will be the functional testing. So here we're just showing visualizations of how the functional testing is progressing. And it's the same thing. You can do it by total unit count, or we can do it by unit type. And anywhere here we can see, well, what are we not tested? Well, we haven't tested area B. And why didn't we test area B? Well, if we go back and look, they're not ready. So we can't test it because the contractor readiness shows they're not ready. Therefore, no testing's been done. The other thing that we go ahead and track and we try to communicate graphically is here at the dashboard level. We can see, okay, out of all the graphics that we've had them start, 86% have been answered by the controls person and reviewed by the GC, and then we've also reviewed it. If there was any electrical or plumbing to do, we have ways to track that as well. So yeah, hope that gives you an idea. We get them started on this early so that they don't get behind. And what you would see, what you would hope to see generally is, because this is set up to work left to right, things would get green in physical inspection first, then the startup, then the point-to-point check, integration, final startup, factory, and then test and balance. And then we just move over to the functional testing from there. We also have an issues tab. If we have an issue in testing or in the contractor readiness that is outside the scope of the status that we already have, we can create these issues, and we can leave, if we need to, screenshots, notes. Like this one had a dead compressor, they're awaiting replacement. So we can require an image. His response has to include an image that shows it's fixed. And then once that's been done, he can change the status to completed. The GC has to agree with it, and then we can close it out. And we're the only ones that can close it out. But you can see there's no way for these to be forgotten. Like we've got, the only way we can get rid of these, the bubble that says 3 issues, is for all these to get cleared out and moved into the closed category. And I would say that's probably a pretty quick overview. The only other thing I didn't mention is we've also got the project members here. So if we have to get a hold of one of the parties that's having an issue and it's not in a regular meeting, we've got all their contact information available at all times. So you don't have to go find that either. So let me know if you have any more questions. Thanks.